Hello, welcome to our next series, which is part two of our What is HubSpot series. And in this video, we're focusing on the marketing hub of HubSpot. So just a quick recap, HubSpot has what we would call our core CRM version, or a core CRM hub, where we've got contacts, we've got companies, we can put in what you would expect in a CRM, things like emails, phone numbers, notes, have meetings, sales tasks, or just tasks in general. That's our core CRM hub. And then with that, all around that hub, we've got our marketing hub, which manages all our marketing, sales hub, which manages all of our sales, service hub, which manages all of your ticketing, your knowledge base, net promoter scores, our operations hub, which allows you to keep your database clean, and then our content hub, which allows us to remix all of our data and push it out to various channels. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on the marketing hub. So let's jump in and take a look, and I'll show you how this system works. So the very first part of our marketing is typically we are running some sort of content or some sort of campaign to attract people into our business. So I'm going to look at this from the angle of a typical scenario where you might have an ad running, you might have some social posts running, or even an email that goes out to a database which you thought might have gone cold, and people jump to a page on your website in order to look at a specific offer and ideally enter their details if they're interested in. So the area I'm going to look at is this thing called a landing page. So it does sit in the Content Hub. So it's under our landing pages, and HubSpot has some templates that we can build out for landing page. If you want to have some ideas around design of landing pages, we can build them from scratch, or we can use the drag and drop editor. So I'm going to jump into this page here. This is a page that I've built previously, and as I scroll down, you'll see there's different areas I can hover my mouse over. We've got all sorts of different modules you can drag onto a page, things like text, buttons, forms, videos, you name it. You've probably got it built in HubSpot. And like I said before, we can drag and drop onto a page. Some of the easiest ways to get these up and running is that we use a pre-built template and fill in the content based on what that template gives us the ability to do. Keeping note here that we do have a form where people can enter their details and opt in to the offer that you've got running. Now, something that HubSpot does really well is that it allows you to run variations of a landing page. So as an example, we can run something called an A/B test, where say you've got two different choices for the title of the page. You can have choice one, which is 10 marketing metrics that directly correlate with ROI, or maybe another one, which is how to boost your marketing ROI with these cool reports. So you can have two different titles here and run a test, and HubSpot will start to direct traffic automatically to the version of the page where it's getting the best results. So if you're seeing that people are starting to enter their details and opting their details into this form here with the second version of the title, HubSpot will just start to show that second version more and more until it's like essentially the winner, and that'll be your landing page. So that's really handy, and eliminates that need to have multiple landing pages and very specific setups in your ad campaigns or your social campaigns. So that's our landing page, and if I preview that, that will give me an idea of what that looks like in the real world. So that's what people will see when they click on an ad, when they click on a social post, whatever that might be, to get traffic to them. Now, I did say before we do have a form here. Something that I do love about HubSpot is that all of the form control sits within HubSpot. So for some businesses, a real challenge is that in order to get a form to update, they have to go back to their web developer and say, oh, could you just add a full stop here, and then have to wait a few days and get the full stop back. And sometimes it can be a bit of a nightmare trying to keep your forms under control so that you can just make changes when you need to. HubSpot does have its own form editor. So let's just jump into that. So if we just exit out of the landing page builder, back into the marketing section of HubSpot and into the forms section, we've got multiple forms here, but similar to the drag and drop builder that we saw with the landing page, we've got a form drag and drop builder. So if I wanted to ask for something like, say, what their company name is, I just drag that onto the page here, click update, and then any pages that has this form sitting within it are automatically updated straight away. So as an example, on our website, we've got, I think this page here, we've got a form at the bottom of the page where we've got all of these details. If I want to just add an element to this drop down here, I can add it within HubSpot, press save, and then all of the pages that use this specific form are instantly updated. So I love that. Now, if you're using like a free or the starter version of HubSpot, you do get the ability to add some basic automation to the landing page. So as an example, you could have something like this where they fill out the form and then they get an email to say, hey, thanks for filling out the form, because for most people from the end user's perspective, if they're filling out a form, they want some sort of confirmation to say, hey, you've got my details. Ideally, one of these automated emails has a welcome message or a video that is a summary of what your business is all about and some case studies, those sort of things. We can delay for a day or two, and then they can get access to a white paper, which is maybe a suggested white paper for them to read while their sales team is getting in contact with you. There's some of the automations we can have within HubSpot. So that's available. Even the free version has that. Now, if we are using the professional version of HubSpot, we get access to a whole lot more, but this is its simplest version. So that's our forms. So far we looked at landing pages and forms. The next area I'm going to look at is our ads section. So let's take a look at that. And this allows us to, I think one of the hook into one of the big advantages of HubSpot, and that's where we can have multiple sources of information coming into HubSpot, and we can then have all of our data sitting in the same system, and then we can run reports over the top to help us analyze how that part of our business is performing, and even more importantly, it can also show us how marketing is supporting sales and how sales is supporting marketing in a loop, because ideally sales is providing feedback back to marketing to help them write content and campaigns or whatever the case may be. And then from the business owner's perspective, to have our dashboards sitting over the top of that to answer questions like where do our best clients come from, where in terms of clients who send us referrals, clients who bring in the most amount of revenue, clients who we actually love working with. So we can backtrack that all the way back to the start from when they were a complete stranger and hook into something like this where it's like, well, we know Fred Smith, my infamous Fred Smith, saw an ad, they clicked it, they filled out the form on the landing page, they spoke to our sales team, they then converted into a revenue generating client, and they spend 10K, 100K, or whatever the case may be per year, all off the back of an ad that cost us, say, $500 in clicks, at the very, very start of the ad. So we can reverse engineer all of our marketing and our sales with systems like this. So this ad platform, it allows us to connect to, currently I've got LinkedIn and Facebook ads running. I can also connect to LinkedIn ads as well. So I think I may have said LinkedIn already, so I meant Google ads and Facebook ads, and we can also connect to LinkedIn ads on top of that. And what this will allow you to do, it'll allow you to view and manage all of your ads from this screen. So we can do quite a lot with that. Something that I do love about this is we can then pull in an audience and say, well, who are the people that were our best conversions, Let's build that into what we call an audience, push that back into the ad platform, and tell the ad platform to find more people like these. How easy is that? So I love this part of the system. And then we've got our analysis, which will say, hey, like, say this top ad here, we're getting lots of clicks, but not really many conversions. So how about we look at dialing that down? Or the contrary, you might have another ad that's been running where it's actually producing maybe not a lot of clicks, but a huge amount of revenue off it. So a very hyper focused ad. So these analysis tools were laid to deep dive into that. So far we looked at our landing page, our form within landing page ads to drive traffic to either a landing page or a page on your website. Keeping in mind that if you do have say something like Facebook ads, Facebook does allow people to enter details straight into a Facebook form. We can get those to link directly into HubSpot. So when someone fills out a form in Facebook, then it'll create an equivalent contact in HubSpot. Now, we can also create automations off the back of that, where we've got a deal that's automatically created, welcome messages, whatever that might be. So we can go pretty nuts with the automation engine with that. So that's our ads. The next section I'm going to focus on is our social area. So if you are currently managing your social through a third-party platform, HubSpot Professional version does have the capability of doing this as well. So what HubSpot allows us to do, this is the social area, but we can create social posts. So that's either a LinkedIn post, a YouTube post, a Instagram post, a Facebook post. So you can actually post to multiple platforms. We can use the AI engine to generate content for us. Allows us to manage our hashtags, attach content. We can select a video and push it out straight out to YouTube or LinkedIn. We can schedule for later if we need to, and we can attach them to campaigns. So I'll come back to that. But what that means is you can schedule all of your content a week, a month, however, how much time you want to push that ahead, and that will then manage all of your social posts. That's the posting side of it. We'll also have this reply area. So if people are replying to your posts on social, so whether that be a comment or a mention, so that's sort of your brand listening, or reposts, it will show you in here. You can actually reply to posts from here, save you having to jump onto the multiple different platforms, especially if you have quite a few different accounts. Everything's just in that single spot. And then the listen section will actually listen out for, this is one of my old businesses, but it'll listen out for brand mentions on social. And finally, we've got our analysis tab where we can analyze all of our data. So the next section of the marketing platform we're going to have a look at is our email section. So very, very similar to a lot of email builders. So if you've used Klaviyo, MailChimp, one of those types of platforms, very, very similar here. As an example, I'm going to jump down to this one here. So once again, drag and drop email editor, so you can edit content if you need to, especially if you're doing something like a newsletter. This one here is actually more of a plain text. But the whole point of this is that once the emails have been delivered, as you would expect, you can then view the analytics of those emails. How often it's been opened, how many clicks went through. The thing I do like about it is we've got these sort of click maps here to say, all right, well, what links are people clicking? How much time are they spending viewing the email? Like how many people are actually reading it properly? How many people are skimming it? How many people are glancing it? So what you can do is have a look at, say, your monthly newsletters and go, well, every time we send an email, a newsletter email, we just get people skim or they don't click. So you can start to make decisions around, do we keep doing it? Do we adjust our content? Do we have more engaging content? Do we have more engaging visuals? So you can start to make decisions around your email efforts. And it'll tell you who's been clicking what, when they clicked it, etc., etc. So this is, once it's tied into your whole marketing reporting, you can start to see areas of your HubSpot system. Like I said to our Fred Smith, if Fred Smith has been opening the newsletter emails continually and always clicking certain topics about your service B that you offer, then we can start to build a picture that after a while, if they've looked at topics around service B, we can then send something to a salesperson, one of your sales team, and say, look, they've opened up they've opened up 4 newsletters, they've read 10 blogs, they keep coming back every couple of weeks. How about we just pick up the phone and have a conversation with this person? So helping us understand buying signals. Okay, the next area of HubSpot marketing I'm going to focus on is something called buyer intent. So I have produced a couple of other YouTube videos around this already, but something that a lot of our clients love about this is it's almost like free leads. So once you've installed the HubSpot tracking code on your website, HubSpot will tell you which businesses, which companies have been viewing your website. So it won't show you every website, every company on the planet. It will, however, show you businesses that it knows information about. So essentially, it pulls it in from their IP address. So as an example, I've got a sample website running on here with a tracking code on it, and I can see that I've got a few different companies that have been looking at my sample website. So what we can do with this is we can then create something like, we can build a target market, and the target market might be something along the lines of say Sydney, Australia, 2 mil turnover, minimum of 20 employees, and they are B2B and they work in the cybersecurity space, something along that. And it'll actually show us and say when a company that fits in those filters comes to our website and has a view of specific pages, then we can then set up an automation to tell the sales team. So what the sales team can do is then jump onto that company's LinkedIn page or somehow get the information of the person who would be looking at our website, and then they will reach out and make contact. So it's not like it's completely cold outreach, it's a relatively warm outreach. And I personally think this is a very undervalued part of the marketing hub, but every one of our clients loves it because it's, like I said, it's almost free leads. And yeah, if we just dig a little bit deeper into this buyer intent, we can add sections like, hey, what's our intent criteria? You know, have they viewed a page 3 times in the past week? Are there specific pages that they are looking at? So we can do a bit of research and get a real feel for the size of the addressable market and the size of the market within your database. So if your addressable market is tiny and you want to build it out, you could be running some campaigns to attempt to get people to come visit the website and see that grow over time, which I think is fantastic. Okay, so the next section I'm going to focus on is we do have lead scoring available. There is a whole journey mapping that we can build out. It's currently in beta, so keep a lookout for our video once this is released as a full release, and we'll explain what this is all about. We've got our marketing analytics section, which has a plethora of reports all around marketing. So things like, you know, which web pages are performing well, what traffic's come to your website based on country. So we can build, there's a lot of analytics that we can tap into. The last section of the campaigns that I'll focus on, of the marketing that I'll focus on, is campaigns. So campaigns, one of the biggest challenges for marketers is answering a question of how is our campaigns performing. So I'm going to jump into a specific campaign. I'll show you how the HubSpot campaign builder currently works. So I've just jumped into the campaign builder in HubSpot, and what we can do is build out some of what I would say the precursor areas of our campaign, things like budget, adding budget items, into the system so we can start to track some of the financials. But where it really works is that when we've got what we call assets connected to the campaign. And this is where the whole HubSpot ecosystem of having everything in a single system works really well. So when I click on add assets, you'll see that we've got all of the different type of assets that we can add to a campaign. So things like the actual ads, the forms, the marketing emails, the specific social posts. We can have specific content from our content area, so either a specific blog post, case study landing page, specific web page. We can have lists, we can have certain workflows or email sequences that they go through. You can see we've got quite a lot of different options or different assets we can add to a campaign. Now, once we start adding these assets to the campaign, we can then start to track them. And then as a marketer or as a business owner, we can start to have our questions answered relatively quickly around what have we spent and what have we got back. And then if we're jumping in here, we're like, okay, well, we spent a fair bit, well, we're not getting much back. Maybe it's a matter of, okay, well, we've had 2,500 clicks on this, we've spent 2.5K, but nothing's actually converted yet. Or this page is actually it's had 6 submissions. This has had 0. Let's analyze this page as to why this has got so many. How many least amount of clicks, and our emails. Which emails are performing well. So you can start to see there's a picture here of all of the different areas of our marketing, whether it be a full campaign that runs for, say, 1 or 2 years if you have a very large campaign, or something like a 2-week end of financial year campaign. We can use HubSpot to help us understand how our marketing is performing. So that's our marketing hub, the core of our marketing hub. I will mention one other area, which is our content hub. The marketing hub and content hub actually fit really well together, and most of the time you can actually, at the time of this recording, it's like an extra 1 or 2%, whatever it is. That's very close to the price of the full marketing professional, and you'll get content hub for very minimal on top. So the whole point of the content hub is we've already seen the landing pages. We've got a content agent which can build content for us, and I have to say, once it's learned how to build content for you, so you've fed it your brand voice, you have given it some fairly succinct ideas of how to create content, it is actually quite good. Once you've generated content, we can use this thing called a remix, where it will re-chop up your content. So the idea is, say you've got a blog post, quite a detailed blog post, you can then chop up that blog post and schedule that over, say, 6 weeks on LinkedIn. You can then remix that so the video goes onto YouTube. So there's a lot of different areas that we can reuse our content quite quickly in HubSpot. So definitely something worth looking at. Now, if this is of interest to you, keep a lookout for our part 3, where we'll be diving into the Sales Hub. I have gone in the natural progression of how someone would go through your business, so typically marketing, sales, and then the operations or delivery side of your business. So keep a lookout for our sales video. If this is of interest to you and you want to have a demo that is tailored specifically for your business, we'd love to have a chat. Just simply click on the link to book an appointment with us. And as always, happy to get some feedback on our videos on how we can improve or specific areas that you'll love to focus on. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.